I am so glad you convinced me that the family car should be the Defender 110. It is so beautiful inside, it's so comfortable, and it just feels indestructible.
Yes, it really is. I've been waiting a long time for the new model to come out. The Defender 110, I'm telling you, it's my favorite car of all times. It's my third one. You know, I have stories of going off road. The guy managed the group. He was like, "What are you doing in this beautiful car?" I'm like, "I'm going off road." He's like, "Are you sure? Because you can use one of ours." And then they look like Mad Max cars. I'm like, "No, no, 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 we're going to do this." And he was shocked.
Wow. Well, it's great because the Defender has been reimagined for 21st century adventure, and its unparalleled off road ability, as well as its robust interior, are invaluable whether you're headed towards uncharted territory or just a weekend of exploration. The Defender 110 tackles challenging surroundings with absolute confidence. The SUV conveys strength outside and in, featuring peerless technology like an intuitive driver display and an award-winning infotainment system. That's my favorite part, to keep you connected no matter where the journey takes you. Adventure is unique to everyone, and so is the Defender. Choose from the two-door Defender 90, the four-door Defender 110, or the larger Defender 130 with the ability to seat up to 8 passengers. You'll find uncompromising performance in all three. So pack up and go even further with the Defender 110. Learn more at landroverusa.com/defender.
This isn't your average business podcast, and he's not your average host. This is the James Altucher Show on the Stansberry Radio Network.
Kevin Harrington, I know I probably don't need to introduce you, but I'm just going to kind of lay out some of the highlights and why I'm so excited you're on the show. You've been on Shark Tank 140 times. You're the king of the infomercials. You've done, how many infomercials have you produced or directed in your life?
Well, it's over 500. It's probably closer to 700 nowadays. Been a lot. I've had a lot of fun doing that many.
I mean, you've done Tony Little. Everybody in the country has seen at least one of your infomercials, and I don't even stay up late, and somehow I've watched 1,000 Tony Little infomercials. And Ginsu knives. What are some of the more well-known ones?
Well, with Jack LaLanne Juicer, Tony Little. There's one running right now called the New Wave Oven, which has been huge. It's done over 500 million. Of course, we did George Foreman. We did the fishing lure called the Flying Lure, the Medicus Golf Club. So I think what I'm excited about in my career is I really covered every spectrum. I did the first acne infomercial with Pat Boone way back. That was back in the 80s. Then I did the Food Savers. I've done kitchen. I've done beauty. I've done fitness with Tony Little. The Jenners, Kim Kardashian, Bruce Jenner, Kris Jenner, Kim Kardashian. I did Kathy Hilton, Paris Hilton, the whole beauty line with the Hiltons. So wow. I've done beauty, hardware, Billy Mays. I discovered Billy Mays in the early 80s. We did the dual saw, which is still running to this day, fishing lures, the Flying Lure. So golf, fitness, fishing, beauty, housewares, hardware, crafts, you name it. I love it. It's been a great 30 years and still running.
And I have so many questions that I think the listeners will really benefit from. But the first question I have is for you personally. Like, you must have seen many people rise up from nothing to creating a product and then making millions of dollars. Like, you've seen their lives change. Like, what was some?
Yes.
What are some examples like where you've just seen just incredible changes in people's lives?
Well, I had a young kid that I hired. He was in his 20s back. And, this was in the early 90s, and I'm running my Tony Little infomercials, and they're booming. And Tony was getting a check for $1 million a month, by the way. So he was the first, one that had, not the first one whose life I changed, but he was the first fitness infomercial. And Tony made tens of millions of dollars. He was buying homes and real estate and unbelievable things, and antiques and art and all that kind of stuff. Fancy cars. He's got a car collection. So one of the guys that was running my media was a young kid. His name was Carl Deichler. Carl's like, "Hey, Tony Little's great, but I got a better idea. I want to create something more along the lines of having a beach body. And so he started a company called Beachbody. Beachbody does over $400 million a year now. And so that was Carl Deichler.
So what's the difference between a beach body and the body Tony Little was sort of, promoting?
Tony was more of a bodybuilder and not so much a beach body, but more of a bodybuilder body. So he wanted to go more mass market, more, like Tony was a bodybuilder and he personally trained bodybuilders. Now, it wasn't a bodybuilder program, but it was more geared towards, a hardcore market, whereas Beachbody was more like the female market, So now, after that, Beachbody did P90X, So P90X was more the hardcore market. So he covered all the spectrums then afterwards also. But it's amazing to see, guys like Carl Deichler that have gone on now to make tens of millions of dollars, maybe even hundreds of millions. I don't know because I haven't seen his books and records. But Carl is an amazing success, and I think it's fantastic, what he's done with his company. So, at the end of the day, it's, from the Alex Langer, who walked in my office, he had a 3-cent piece of plastic that he called the flying lure that became a number one fishing lure in the world. We sold 500 million pieces of the flying lure. Carl bought radio stations and boats and cars and homes, and he made tens of millions of dollars. It was an amazing success for the gentleman.
So this fishing lure, like obviously it was a cheap item. Like what caught your eye? Like what did you like about it? What did you like about the guy? Like how did you see?
Okay.
What vision did you see as soon as he walked in the door?
He walks in my door. He slaps this thing on my desk. He said, "Here's a fishing lure." So what's it cost to make that little piece of plastic? He said, 3 cents. I said, "Why is this different than any other lure in the market?" He said, "Every other lure in the market hits the water, drops straight down. It's gravity." He said, "I have reverse engineered mine to hit the water and swim away like a wounded fish." And so other lures, the fish hide where the sun is not. It's a hot, sunny day. Where are the fish hiding? Under the dock where the shade is. You cast the lure out in front of the dock, it drops straight down where it's sunny. The flying lure, you cast it where it's sunny, and it swims under the dock into the shade, catches all the fish. It's an amazing story, and it works like you wouldn't believe.
So here's a 3-cent item. It works, and you're thinking to yourself, okay, I could produce the infomercial for like $100,000 or less.
Right.
What goes through your mind then?
So we put $75,000 into the show, but I said, I need testimonials. Do you have testimonials? He said, yeah, I do. I said, no, I don't need 5. I don't need 10. I want 100. He said, what do you mean 100? I said, I want consumer testimonials. I want editorial testimonials from the fishing magazine. I want Bassmaster champions. Those are professional testimonials. There's 5 kinds of testimonials. Consumer testimonials, professional testimonials, like professional fishermen. There's editorial testimonials from the magazines and the fishing TV shows. Then there's celebrity testimonials. Then there's documentation testimonials.
What's a documentation testimonial?
Documentation are like product testing labs that can show how it swims and at what angles, and that, yes, it hits the water, it swims an average of 10, 12 feet, forward. So that's a documented like product testing lab. We ended up shooting 100 testimonials, 65 of them that made the cut in the 30-minute show. Mind-blowing success because of the testimonials. The lure is 3 cents. It's the story of the people that used it and how it changed their lives as fishermen that sold the product.
Okay, so I have 2 questions about this. One is, the first question is, when you're asking him for these testimonials, it's almost like a filter. Like, is he willing to go out and do the additional work required to prove to you that this is a sellable product? Do you use that as like a filter?
Yes. You need to make sure. I mean, look, I've taken over 50,000 pitches over the last 30 years, and a bunch of those out of the 50,000, probably more than half of that is in the last 5 years. Okay, because it's I went on Shark Tank. I was getting literally hundreds of thousands of Google searches a week, and so these people come through. They email, they call, they show up in my office. I go to a conference. It's like I would take 100 pitches in a day sometimes sitting at a trade show. So bottom line is that I have learned how to decipher what really works in a pitch, and I've actually created the 10 steps to creating a perfect pitch, so you can get the shark to invest in your idea, your product. This is a very critical part of my success, is teaching other people how to leverage themselves.
Okay, so how should people pitch you? What do you look for?
I look for, I could spend an hour on it, but number one, you have to get the attention of the person right up front. So I want something, I call it a tease, something attention getting right at the very front that grabs, and it's, so let's not talk about just me, because I know what to look for, but other people that you're pitching, they're not as professional. I do this as my job, okay? Other people don't know this, so you got to grab them. You got to, it's like smack them upside the head. So if you watch any of my TV commercials, I have 6 seconds to grab your attention, or you're off watching a movie or something else, making a sandwich. I'm on TV, right? So in 6 seconds, if I'm selling a cleaning product, you're going to see a guy eating a meatball sandwich with a big drop of sauce all over his beautiful $100 tie. Has this ever happened to you? And yes, it has. And by the way, I'm going to watch to see how they solve that problem. So show me a problem, hit me upside the head, tease me. Now, the next couple steps, I call it a tease, please, and seize. You please from there by showing me the benefits, showing me magical transformations, showing me some testimonials, give me some proof that it works, the documentation I talked about. So, this pleasing is very important. It's got to be real. It's got to be sincere, and give me as many magical transformations as possible, right? So
what's a magical transformation?
In acne, it's pizza face to clear skin. In weight loss, it's 280 pounds to 120 pounds. It's, show me somebody that was poor, now they're rich, okay? Magical transformation. If you watch The Biggest Loser, you see a magical transformation from week 1 to week 13 in that show. So I want to know that this product will change my life in a significant fashion.
Interesting. So, okay, so they come in the door, they're pitching you, they're willing to do the work. Now you put in $75,000 to make a show.
Yep.
And then what do? Do you go buy media?
Yeah. Then the show's done. We set up all the phone centers to take the calls. We set up a website. That we hire a media agency. We send the tapes out to the TV stations, and we do a media test. And based on the test, we test all different time periods. So the fishing show, by the way, on its first week, didn't work. And the reason being is first of all, it was a geographical kind of a product. This fishing lure, we were buying in all across the country. And we found out that when we started targeting cities and then we started targeting time periods, it became a grand slam. So initially, buying LA, New York, living on the coast, this wasn't an ocean fishing product. It was lakes. And so we had to come inside. We had to come there's a lot of states, by the way, with a lot of lakes. And, Alabama and Georgia and Minnesota and Ohio and Florida and, many, probably 45 states out of the 50 that it'll work. But don't heavy up. Many times when we test New York, LA, Chicago, boom. Okay? No, this test, we also, we test all different time periods, but it's more of a male-oriented product. So it's not going to work on Wednesday at noon. It works late night. It works weekends. It works weekends, mornings, but not 10 o'clock in the morning like a kitchen show will. It works real early because the fishermen are fishing at 10 o'clock in the morning. So you need to do a scientific analysis of who is your customer and how do you make this thing work. So some companies would have dropped it and said this is a bomb. We said, no, let's take it, because as we analyzed the data, on our national buys, we found out there was pockets that it was streaming, but it wasn't working in LA and New York. So once we did the analysis, then we went in, refocused it, and then it became the Grand Slam. By the way, we did $500 million in sales of a fishing lure. Okay, so
how much did you sell the fishing lure for? A 3-cent fishing lure?
We sold a 20-piece pack for $20, a buck a lure. So it was pretty good markup from 3 cents to $1. But
and what's the economics on that? So the inventor, what does he get?
The inventor, he got a buck an order, $1 on every one we sold. And so you got to understand, a 20-piece lure set isn't just you send them 20 lures in an envelope. They get a little tackle box, which is a piece of plastic box that costs about 60 cents. They get about 20 hooks. They get a fishing book. They're going to get, the whole pack cost me about $4. Okay. And then I sell it for 20. There's 20 lures in there. So we sold 500 million lures, 25 million kits. The inventor makes $25 million. And the rest is history. It's a grand slam all the way across the board.
And how much did the TV time cost? Like, let's say it's a half-hour show. What on average would you pay for a half hour?
It's across the board, but TV time runs anywhere from 30 to 50% of the cost of goods.
So what does that mean? Like let's say I'm buying Comedy Central at 4 a.m. What would that cost me?
If you buy Comedy Central at 4 a.m, that might cost you $2,000. If you buy Discovery Channel at 8 a.m, that might cost you $30,000. Okay, so it all depends on the network. Fox, you can buy Fox Business for $3,000, but Fox National, where you're in all Fox affiliates, is $150,000. So, I mean, there's time periods all across the board. But let's just say that if you're spending $5,000 for a media buy, you're going to generate between $10,000 and $15,000 in credit card orders instantly, including your internet sales.
So obviously, you're looking for things that are totally scalable and easy to make. So this fishing lure was no problem to make them, ship them, and so on. You're looking for a guy who's going to go out there and get all the testimonials and put in a lot of the hard work. You're looking for things where obviously it's incredibly useful. There's a sort of stigma associated with infomercials that a lot of these products, are somehow not high quality enough to be real big brand products. Although now you're seeing the big brands get into the infomercial business. Is that kind of crowding you out a little bit?
It's let's put it this way. When Arm & Hammer bought OxyClean for $365 million, they realized this was a huge industry and an industry that builds brands. So, Arm & Hammer, they have been utilizing this industry for a number of years now. Some of the, look, you've got even, the Trojan companies, prophylactic companies using, spots in media in direct response, effectively. So across the board, you've got, Procter & Gamble uses infomercials. General Motors has used infomercials. Branded companies are now utilizing infomercials because it's a direct, the marketplace has moved more towards seeing direct benefit from the advertising. This is one of the reasons why Facebook, they're having issues with some of their advertising because, hey, look, people don't want to just spend money on Facebook. They want to know that they're directly getting benefits. And so show me that I'm getting a direct benefit and I'll buy some time. I'll buy some, right? So this is where the internet is making, more of these advertisers focused on showing benefit from the dollars spent.
And do you feel competition from the internet? Like, so now are people watching late night, infomercials as much as opposed to the internet?
What's happening is this: there's a huge drop off in television viewership, and this is affecting the business in many ways. But there's two ways to look at it. So when I found out over the last 5 years that television viewing levels was dropping by 20+%, but the rates are staying the same, this was a major problem. Okay, So what's happening? They're going to their iPads, they're going to the internet, they're going to their mobile phones. Groupon does 72% of its sales on a mobile phone. All right. QVC does 30% of its sales on a mobile phone. Okay. So what is this doing? You can say, wow, as a marketer, I'm screwed. Okay. Well, what I said was, as a marketer, I'm going to go partner with Sprint and form a joint venture to launch the first mobile shopping channel, which is what I'm doing. And it's called Star Shop. It's a celebrity-based mobile app that you're going to, in the first quarter of next year, you're going to be able to download. And now it'll be the first live shopping channel on a mobile phone with Sprint as my partner. So I don't say hey, TV is terrible, I'm out of business. I say they've moved from TV to mobile. So how do I partner with mobile to gain the edge on the rest of my competitors? And by the way, I'm the only one launching a mobile shopping channel right now. There probably will be others after we launch. But this is how entrepreneurs need to think. You always do what you've always done. You'll always get what you've always gotten. Okay. So you got to be thinking ahead of the game. And that's what I do as an entrepreneur in my industry.
So let's say I'm an inventor, but I'm sitting in my cubicle at my job where I'm unhappy, but I've invented some great new thing, like let's say the new magical toilet warmer or something like that. What's my next step if I don't have you behind my back?
Okay, so if there's two ways to launch a product. If you're an inventor, you can launch it yourself, or you can launch it either with mentors or partners or other people to help you do it and partner with. Okay, if you launch it yourself, you got to go hire a lawyer to protect yourself across the board, because you don't want to tell anybody what you're up to. So get trademarks, get URLs, get patents wherever necessary. Okay. Then you need, if you're gonna launch the product into the marketplace, you need to get manufacturing assistants. You got to get engineers. You got to get molds made. You got to get manufacturing. You got to, and so now that's second. So the first phase is the legal preparation phase. The second phase is manufacturing phase. Then the third phase is distribution phase. Where are you going to sell this? You're going to sell it to retail. You're going to sell it to the shopping channels. You're going to sell it to catalogs, or you're going to sell it direct on TV yourself with an infomercial. So, be prepared to put up millions of dollars to do all that, because now you need inventory. And if you're going to sell to Walmart, they order 100,000 pieces. If it costs you $10 to make, you got to make 100,000 at $10. That's $1 million. Ship it in and then wait 60 to 90 days to get paid. So, be prepared to invest millions if you want to do it yourself. The other way is partner with somebody, whether it's me or somebody that's been in the business a while. We put up the money. We do the legal, we do the molding, we do the engineering, we do the manufacturing, we do all the connecting, and we sell it to the catalog companies, we sell it to the shopping channels, we sell it to retail stores, and we put it on TV, sell it direct to the public. And we partner, we pay a big royalty. In many cases, like I said, the fishing lure guy, he made $25 million. What's so bad about that? Okay, so you got to be careful. Sometimes people think, oh, I need to own it all. I want to control it all. And they end up over the next 5 years selling 100,000 pieces and losing money. How about selling 25 million pieces and making $1 a piece? So there's a big difference. Don't be afraid to partner with people that know what they're doing.
Would you say that's a big source of failure for people, is that they're kind of afraid to have a small piece of 25 million as opposed to 100% of nothing?
Yes, absolutely.
I kind of see that myself, that everybody is sort of greedy for the pie as opposed to making the pie bigger.
Yes, absolutely. Too many people. I mean, I've sat with people. I've sat with inventors, and I said, look, I'll put up all the money, which is going to be millions, $2 to $5 million, and I'll go 50-50 with you. And they're like, oh, you want half the profits? I'm like, okay, I'm done. Goodbye. Okay, because listen, go get $5 million, and you're not going to end up with 50% if you try to raise money on your own, because anybody that's going to, you go to venture capitalists and vulture capitalists and all of that. Yeah, they'll put up $5 million. You're going to own 5% of the company. So, it's, you got to be careful how you do it. Don't be too greedy. Know when to hold them, know when to fold them. And when I mean fold, I mean fold for a good deal with somebody that gives you an opportunity to make a lot of money.
So let's talk about folding them. So when has there been a case where you've put up, like, you've done the whole route, it looked like a great product to you, and then you had to fail quickly or else lose millions more?
So Chubby Checker walked in my office one day, come on, baby, let's do the twist. And he said, Kevin, I've got a fitness product that's going to revolutionize America. You've done Bruce Jenner Fitness, Tony Little Fitness. I've got the fun way to exercise. It's called the Twisticizer. You're going to play music to your fitness and have fun while you're working out. And I put $500,000 up, and it was one of the biggest failures that I ever had. We failed fast and not cheap, unfortunately, but we had to just move on. And the good news is we didn't get so close to it that we kept putting more and more money into the deal. So
what if he changed? What if he had changed his name just for the product, like Twisty Checker or something?
Yeah, I said with a name like Chubby, we should have known that a fitness product was going to be a tough sell.
Yeah, that seems hard.
It's like that was one that we in hindsight could have done a little more testing on before we launched.
How important is the celebrity? Like, take a look at the George Foreman grill. Clearly, it was George Foreman and not the grill that sold that.
Actually, I'll say this: it was a combination, because he had a very good pitch. George loved cheeseburgers, but he got a little, paunchy after boxing, and his little belly, little belly there, and he's like, you know what? I got to get, I want cheeseburgers, but I don't want all the fat in the cheeseburger. So there was some very clever IP on the Foreman grill, intellectual property. It was a slanted grill. The grease dripped off, and it was called the Lean Mean Grilling Machine. So yes, it was George Foreman, but there was some good IP and a good story to the grill. So it was a combination. But I'll say this: sometimes a celebrity can sell a product that is not a great product, and it's all the celebrity. Other times, the product can be great, and if the celebrity isn't good, it can bomb, or if the celebrity isn't vested and sincere in his interest in the product. So there are, a lot of different ways to look at different projects and trying to decipher whether it's the product or the celebrity. But I believe having a good celebrity can be very powerful.
So, take someone like a Kim Kardashian. She's sort of known for being a celebrity, but not much else. So how much social proof is there in having her say, "I love this product"?
Well, look, she's transcended into becoming a superstar. So,
and that's true. I apologize for saying she's just a celebrity, because she has taken that and built a business out of it.
Yeah, look, I did Kim's first infomercial, and it actually was reasonably successful. Nothing to do with Kim, but it was a steam iron, believe it or not, and this is before she got hugely successful. But Kim today, because of the power of her social media, she has an influence factor. She's got products like nail products and beauty products and things like that have been okay in distribution, because she has the ability with her muscle, social media wise, to drive some significant action. Okay. So, but at the end of the day, she also, in some cases, isn't taken totally, sincere on a lot of stuff, because she has promoted a bunch of stuff. She had a diet product called Quick Trim. And if you look at Kim, she doesn't necessarily look like, she's like very slim. Okay. So I don't think that product ended up doing real well. So you got to be careful, what you're picking and how you're selling it, for sure. So I mean, I did a project with Joan Collins way back. It's a skincare product, and it was a disaster because she didn't. She said, "I'm not going to endorse this product." I'm like, "What do you mean? We paid you $50,000." She said, "Well, I'm just here to host the show. I'm not endorsing the product," and it was a terrible disaster for us.
I see. So you really need, so the testimonial aspect is really key on the celebrity side.
Absolutely, yes.
So you know, again, if I'm I'm the individual investor. I have some idea. I decide, okay, Kevin says I should partner with somebody. Are there a lot of people I can go out to partner with? Like, how do I find, the Kevins of the world, the Kevin Harringtons of the world?
I just came from a conference in Vegas. It's called ERA, Electronic Retailing Association, and ERA is there's 5,000 people there from 100 countries, and this is the one place that you can get all the information, all the players, literally, like I said, thousands of people, distribution around the world. And I'm one of the founders of ERA in 1990 with Greg Ranker, and it's without a doubt the place to go to find, how to, who to partner with, how to partner, and all that kind of stuff. So highly recommend, tuning into that. If you join ERA or you call ERA for information, they can kind of tie you into who are all the players and all the movers and the shakers.
And how does kind of the infomercial approach compare to, let's say, the multi-level marketing approach?
Well, multi-level marketing, if you take a product, it's you can sell a lot of product in multi-level marketing. It's not as TV branded. What's beautiful about the infomercial approach is that, I mean, Snuggie was a blanket with arms. Okay, if you'd sold that in MLM, I don't see why or how you could have sold 25 million of them the way Snuggie did. The power of TV created a juggernaut marketing campaign that took that global, and they were creating pub crawls and social media, and I mean, it was just unbelievable, the power of that product. So, I believe that there's nothing more powerful than an infomercial. I mean, I've had campaigns I was spending $1.5 million a week in media to sell those products on TV, but then building huge brands for the back end and retail and all other forms of distribution. So it's a very powerful way to create the brand.
So, when you were on Shark Tank, would you be thinking to yourself, "Oh, before I invest in a product, this is something I can do an infomercial and really blow out"? Would that be sort of the structure of your deals on Shark Tank?
Yeah, what I look for, there's a couple things. Number one, the beauty of Shark Tank is you're on ABC Network, so you're instantly getting the power of ABC. Secondly, I'm saying, how do I leverage that and take the product to utilizing the first ABC connection to now leverage that to other media and other TV shows, on newspapers, magazines, etc. So I would take a product from Shark Tank, I'd take it to a trade show, and say, as seen on Shark Tank, then we would get the interest level from all of the retail stores. So I took a product called City Kitty. We took it from Shark Tank into Good Morning America, the Today Show, the Wall Street Journal. Took it to the Houseware Show, got it into every Walgreens in America and end caps, and you leverage it. You take the Shark Tank sizzle to the power of all the other possibilities of the product in terms of press and media and exposure.
And you would be different than, let's say, other Shark Tank investors. Like, you could basically, it's not like you're just writing a check and then they go off. You're writing a check and then you're calling Walgreens and say, "Hey, can I have some shelf space?"
Absolutely. I mean, it's just getting on Shark Tank doesn't guarantee you anything but a few initial orders. the power of Shark Tank is leveraging that initial exposure to create a multicasting of opportunities. It's Shark Tank is just one kind of flip, bang, okay, great. I got on this show and I got, my 5 minutes of fame. All right. If you don't leverage that, you're done. You might get a few months out of it, but you need to get a couple of years out of it. And 3, 4, 5, 6 years. I've got products that have lasted that long from the leverage.
Now, so after all these product launches and obviously you've made a ton of money and you enjoy doing it, but why do you keep doing it?
Well, that's what. First of all, I tried to retire a few years back, and I sold a company, made a lot of money, and then said, you know what? Let me try something else. There's nothing like the juice of taking somebody that walks in your office with an idea or a product, slaps down a 3-cent lure, and then selling $500 million worth of it over the next 3 to 4 years. Okay, there's a thrill and an excitement out of that, and it's not just even my own thrill and excitement. It's seeing these entrepreneurs get excited and watching them and helping them, and so I'm all about empowering entrepreneurs and building big opportunities for other people now. I have a 26-year-old son that's now in the business. I got a 16-year-old coming up that, they all are tuning into the power of TV and the power of what I've been doing. So I love seeing, I probably speak somewhere in the neighborhood of 75 to 100 times a year now around the world. Australia, I'm heading to London. I just got back from Australia. I was in New York and L.A. and San Francisco. I did 12 events in the last 16 days, and it's unbelievable to see the opportunities that are out there, and I enjoy seeing the gleam in the eye and then the satisfaction when we take something and make a big hit out of it. So at this stage, it's just, I can go out and play golf, which I enjoy doing also, but you got to have something that charges the battery every so often also, and that's why I love the business and I've been in for 30 years.
Well, okay, so 12 events in the past 16 days, that requires like an enormous amount of energy. Like I don't even like going, that means 12 airports in 16 days basically. Like how do you I to be honest, I personally don't think I would have the energy to do that. And I'm a pretty energetic guy. I do lots of things. I don't think I would want to travel to like 16 different events. Like how do you or 12 different events? How do you
each one of them has a different kind of a style. Some of them are corporate. Like I go into corporations and I create Shark Tank style events. I went into a major corporation like AT&T, had 300 senior executives, break them into teams of 30 teams of 10, and we take 30 pitches over the day, and we come up with new ideas for AT&T. That's one style of event. So that's cool. I'm planting a seed, building a whole new business enterprise corporately. Then I do the Chamber of Commerce kind of events, and I do entrepreneurial organizations. Then I do more inventor type of events. So across the board, and I'm also one of the founders of the Entrepreneurs Organization. So that's another style of event. So I'm not doing the same thing over and over and over. Each one has kind of a different and not 16 different events, but probably 5 or 6 different styles of events. So, and by the way, I don't do that every month. This happened to be a very aggressive schedule, and it was like, I just got on this roll, and I'm like, one to the next to the next. So I've got 2 weeks off now, and that's now I can rest and take it easy. So it's sort of motivating and empowering in the process.
Just as an aside, like, and thinking of George Foreman, it always strikes me as interesting. 80% of people know George Foreman from boxing, say, and 20% say know him from the grill. But I would bet you most of his net worth, like 90% of his net worth, comes from the grill. And it's always interesting to me, at a certain point, nobody ever really knows where people know what they did professionally, but nobody really knows where people made their money. Like, people know William Shatner from Star Trek, but they don't know he made his money on Priceline, as an example. And I wonder if that's true, or do you think that's true for, like, most sort of celebrity people out there?
Yeah, look, George Foreman made $137 million on the grill. So he made money in boxing, but he made more money by far on the grill than he did for his entire career in boxing. So, without a doubt, Priceline has made Shatner fortune. So, yeah, but this is the thing. People's career, it isn't just about, even myself, like, I'm an infomercial guy, but I'm involved in 20 plus companies. I sit on board of directors, and I get stock options and stock and monthly fees. And there's a guy named, have you ever heard of Gary Vaynerchuk? Vayner Media. Okay.
Well, Gary Vaynerchuk. He's been on my podcast.
Yes. So Gary he gets involved with the Ubers of the world at the very beginning, and he gets a little bit of stock. I think he made tens of millions of dollars on that one. So people build their brand, they make money. You got to leverage yourself, and that's what entrepreneurship is all about. So I've got to run in a minute here, but I'm really excited about having a chance to talk to all your folks here today. There's some just tremendous opportunities out there, and I'm happy to have a chance to say hello to everybody.
Well, I'm very excited you came on. I do want to recommend people get your book, Act Now, How I Turn Ideas into the Next $1 Million Product. And is there any particular product that's your favorite right now?
Right now, that's a good question. I would say there's the new wave oven it's an infrared technology. It's been around for a while, but it's been so successful that it's kind of one of those items. It's been just two Korean engineers that came up with this idea of putting an infrared technology into a cooking system, and this is hundreds of millions of dollars. Then that's one of the big ones. There's also now a new vertical grill with the Ronco company that I'm involved with as an investor. So it's always hard to just say one, but let's pick those two for now: the new wave oven and the Ronco vertical grill. How about that?
I love it, and I love how these are just good traditional products as opposed to the latest Silicon Valley, like high-flying valuations and so on. Just good American entrepreneurialism.
You got it.
All right, thanks a lot, Kevin.
Man.
I really appreciate you coming on the show.
You bet, buddy. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
For more from James, check out the James Altucher Show on the Stansberry Radio Network at stansberryradio.com and get yourself on the free insiders list today.
These days, we're all investors, trying to be smart with our money despite our worst impulses. But at iShares, we believe that deep down inside of every investor is a better investor. One that's just waiting to be let out. Explore iShares ETFs and insights and let your best investor out. Visit iShares.com for more information.